Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is the homie Fletcher, owner and founder of TrinFX Discord community channel, and as well as the Telegram service that we do have operating, sending free signals, free trades and analysis for you guys to help you with your Forex journey, right? And if this is your first time joining this video, what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to discuss right now is this is basically a weekly outlook, and I know this video is coming to you kind of late, not at the starting of the week like we usually do doing our markups on Sundays, sometimes Saturday evenings before the markets open, because there's a couple of reasons why, right? So we do have some things in focus right now which kind of have the market going up and down, sideways, whatever the case may be. And we're seeing strong and mixed signals when it comes to market sentiment right now. 1 minute the market is moving up, next minute is moving down. And it's a really tough area to trade if you're someone that's doing day trading and if you're swing trading for now, right? This market environment is really sort of a scalper's haven rather than someone who holds positions long term, right? So there's some things in key focus right now that I want to discuss, and really want to make this video short and sweet for you guys, just to recover like why we didn't have that analysis video like usual at the starting of the week. Okay, and I already have these tabs open here, and you can see it right here on the economic calendar on Monday, which would have been yesterday or maybe 2 days from the recording of this video. We had the ECB forum on central banking, right? And then we also had ECB President Christine, sorry, I can't pronounce the last name. President Christine also had a speech, right? So she came out and she made a statement, and she was talking about the state of the euro currency, right? And there's a few things in focus right now, which is why I've been kind of reluctant to really trade the euro pairs as of late, like I would usually do. We did have some instances where we got some good setups, but overall I've been kind of reluctant to really dive into the whole euro pairs just because of these specific information that we could probably see happening, tomorrow as it stands, right? So what is the euro area ECB forum on central banking, right? What is this piece of news? Why is it important? Why is it highlighted as high impacting, right? And basically, just to give you a summary or synopsis of what it is, we can see right here on President Lagarde when she spoke, President Christine, right? Right here they summarized it. Basically, the euro area is facing a complex mix of shocks which are reducing growth and pushing up inflation, said President Christine. In this environment, it is imperative for policymakers within their respective mandates to address the risk to the economic outlook, right? So as you know, how things stand, how things are going with high prices and the shock to the overall geoeconomical situations that we do have happening right now, affecting all the economies, all the major players, all the major investors and whatnot, and around the world globally, right? The euro itself is facing some sort of difficulty right now with the reducing growth. There has been a slow progression on growth, as well as inflation still on the rise in many of these large economies, and that is one of the main things that we are looking at right now, and why the euro dollar is in such a complex area right now in terms of mixed sentiment in the markets as it stands, right? So what the ECB forum is basically is just they're going to discuss the challenges that they are facing towards monetary policy in this rapidly changing market environment, right? With everything that's going on, they need to discuss how best can they move forward while making things safe and not rushing the process to get inflation back down to its normal 2 to 3% levels, as well as coming to confront the slowness that's affecting the overall growth of the economy itself, right? And as you can see, it happens on between the 27th and to the 29th of June. But we could see if we click here to go live, this would actually be starting in 7 hours on June 29th at 3:30, right? So 3:30 a.m. that's usually around the time like midday or something like that in the euro area. So at this point, this is where we'll have that discussion on what best the ECB can do moving forward, and how they could actually, you know, their best course of action for them to take in order to come and stimulate their economic growth, as well as weigh down on the inflation, kind of bring that back, pull that back, right? So that is what we're going to have happening. And during this piece of news event, we could see a lot of fluctuation in the euro dollar, coming to whatever is said. If it's bullish, if they're, you know, more optimistic on the outlook of actually reducing inflation, as well as being able to reasonably increase interest rates without it having any negative side effects, then that would be seen as something bullish for the euro. We could probably see the euro dollar go on a rise, rather than, you know, if they're a little bit more bleaky, a little bit more gloomy, a little bit more less optimistic, right? Then we'll see the euro dollar take a sharp fall, right? So it all depends on what is said, what comes out during this course of this news event, which could really affect some of these moving euro pairs. So you can see a lot of these euro pairs, as it stands, are down on for the starting of the week, right? So we can see from the 27th, and actually see that would have been from 26th, 27th, right? So from 27th around here, EuroCAD went on a sharp fall. We fell right here on EuroCAD from here, so around 115 pips as it stands. And if we just go across all these euro pairs, we can see that, you know, we've just fallen, right? Around here, price is kind of ranging, but we could probably see a sharp fall to the downside right here as well. Euro CHF also, right, on this strong down trend overall, we can see that price actually pushed from the highs over here, right? We had a sharp fall right here on the 16th of June, and we continued with this slow progressing downtrend, right? Overall, the market has been in a very bearish state across all these multiple pairs. Euro GBP, this one is kind of actually up, just because we have a weaker GBP, still have fears of recession and all of that kind of weighing down on the sterling. So we do have a weaker GBP in this case on this currency cross pair. So we see the euro kind of, you know, moving to the upside, but overall the two currencies are weak when we do compare the currencies, you know, the relative strength between them. And Euro NZD as well, risk commodities, risk price, and these risk assets, such as the AUD and the NZD, they have been going up and down, really not in any one specific direction. Just it'll shoot up, it'll shoot down, and the markets do what they want, and there's little reason as to why that is. But if we had to, you know, bring some logic into it, we could say, all right, and maybe it's because, however, how it stands with the commodity prices, the US also facing the whole thing with the recession, as well as inflationary levels being high, and as how are they going to deal with that, raising interest rates, what that could mean, and the slow growth of the economy itself as well. They'll have to actually stimulate the economy. How do they do that without actually raising inflation above the levels that is currently at as well, right? They have to introduce spending and have people, you know, actually go in and have the currency actually flow within the economy to actually get inflation down and stimulate the overall growth of the economy itself. As it stands, we could possibly see a recession as well, with one of the larger players when we talk about economies out there and the more value that the US dollar does have, right? So that stands the reason why we see risk commodities moving up and down against the US dollar, because why? We have better chances of getting higher yields when we do put money into assets, as well as the selling of the US Treasury bonds, also affecting the US dollar and price action between these cross bases, these USD cross bases, which again affects all the cross currencies as well. So that is like one of the reasons. It may be a lot of information to take in, but that is one of the reasons why we see just price working up and down, and no real clear solid directions, right? So yeah, that's what we have happening, right? And that is like one of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to actually have the weekly analysis when we usually do, because we do have a lot of news events coming out that really impact the future of the currency exchange market, how these economies will go along moving forward for the rest of the year, for the rest of the remainder course of the year. So that is one of the reasons why I was kind of reluctant to actually have that, because I want to see how these things would play out. Yes, we took trades in between. However, we were a little bit more on the, I would say, on the safe side when we did take those trades, when I did place those trades, right? But overall, that is what we have happening. That is what we are looking at currently. We also do have some more news coming up. As you can see, we actually have another ECB speaker as well. So it is marked as high impactful. So whatever this person has to say will also affect the euro dollar. And we also have the Japanese yen consumer confidence. And we also have more speeches from Jerome Powell tomorrow as well. So this would affect the US dollar. He would more or less, we could likely see Jerome Powell actually talk about the moving forward with interest rates. If we could get an increase in interest rates, what we could expect any near-term future, and how they are combating inflation overall, what they're doing to curb that inflation rate as well, and how they could stimulate the economy, right? So we might see some comments on that. We might see some badgering on Jerome Powell. So looking forward to that. It will really affect price and actually affect price movement too, right? We also have some GDP news as well, speeches, and then we have retail sales, GDP growth for the British pound, and some Swiss news as well, right? So we do have a lot of news coming up for this week that we should pay attention to moving forward, right? And again, more speeches, right? So there's a lot of news, inflation rate as well for the euro, a lot of news coming out, and these are the best times to actually trade the market, right? There's a duality to it. These are the best time to trade the market, as well as the more haphazard times, because you never know where price is going to move. Sometimes you might see a large move to the downside, right? And you may be that person that just got into the trade late. You get in somewhere around here, right? And then on the next candle, price just corrects, right? It just corrects all the way up, right? And then you want to get into that correction because you're thinking now that price is going to continue going up, just to enter, and it just falls back down. And this is something that happens in trading a lot of times, especially when there's a lot of news event. There's a lot of things for that, investors, hedge funds owners, large players within the foreign exchange market have to digest. And then we, the little guys, could probably get into on those moves, right? So there's no need to rush it. Even though for the week itself we already did over 21%, there's no need to rush to overdo it. Just because we do have all these news events coming out, we just need to pay attention to what they say, what that means, how the markets react, and how we could move forward with that information given, right? Especially for July month, we do have interest rate increases that we should probably see. I believe on the 21st of July, we do have some interest rate increase from the ECB, right? And we can see here we have interest rates again as well for the AD. So in 6 days on July 5th, we can see that we're going to get an increase here. How much is that by? 75. I think, yes, 75. Yeah, so an interest rate increase here by 0.75% for the AUD. So we could probably see price spike on this as well here. We also have some other more, I believe. Let's see. We also have FOMC minutes. So we do have a lot of impactful stuff for next week, right? We have a lot going on for next week. Again, so this is probably the best time for traders. For some, those that are more veterans, more experienced traders. And for the ones that are new to trading, then I would suggest take this information, whatever happens, digest it, and then you can move forward when things kind of calm, because you now have a clearer understanding of, okay, where the markets are going to go, how did it react to this, what is the takeaway from this information given, right? Just because we see interest rate increase, right, for the AED doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue moving bullish, right? Sometimes we've seen it for the past few months since the start of the year. We've seen price on the AED itself, when we did have interest rate increase, we saw price drop instead of going in the usual bullish direction that we would expect when we do have high interest rate. And that is because we also have inflation as well being a main concern overall and the slow progression of growth in each of these economies, right? So growth is slowing down, high inflation. We also have supply chain issues with monkeypox in China, also causing some, a little bit of gloominess overall on supply chain demands and stuff like that, right? So we do have a lot of different fundamental factors coming into play, which won't necessarily react with this the way that we would usually expect it to, right? So just because interest rate is rising, you need to take information from everything going on around you and kind of just put that in perspective, right? So we could tally it up and see, does the good outweigh the bad, or does the bad outweigh the good? And then we will see the markets react to that information, and we'll be in a better position to take our entries, whether to the upside to the downside, and really separate ourselves from the novice traders and that are just trading, the direction without any real understanding of why price is doing what it's doing, right? So that's basically it for this video, guys, right? Just want to make this short, sweet, and to the point. I'm not gonna edit this or anything. So what is happening, what is going on, what you should pay attention to, and really put it into perspective for you as you continue trading. And this is like how I do my trading, right? This is like things I like to look at, I like to pay attention to, and see how the markets react to certain things. Right, guys? So thank you for joining in. Thank you for looking at this video. If you made it all the way to the ending of this video, I really rock with you. Leave a like if you like this video. If you have any questions, then feel free to leave a question and comment, as well as subscribe if you're new to the channel, to help work that YouTube algorithm for people that would appreciate content like this. We're just being honest, we're being straightforward, we're being, real traders. I'm not flexing for you guys. I'm not about that. I'm not gonna flash anything to get you interested or anything. I would like to put the facts, I like to put the truth, and just show you the real side of trading. Right, guys? So that's it for the video. Thank you for joining in. Peace.